I have a client that he asked me to do a very traditional tattoo, like on the 20th, right? On the inauguration day. He wants to get a very like patriotic kind of thing. You know, he wants to have that day. He just wants to be getting a tattoo on that day, and it looks like an American traditional tattoo for that day, right?
Oh, nice.
Then he told me, I want you to do it with a coil machine. And it might not sound like all that, like, oh, whoop-de-whoop, right?
Yeah,
but no, to me, it sucks, dude.
It's a lot of work.
I'm going to have to like train that whole week, you know, with grip strengtheners, right?
Yeah. I have some.
I'm going to have to like do that all week and just kind of pump it, boy. So you weren't painting with a watercolor, you were painting with a marker?
I can't watercolor.
Oh, you can't watercolor?
I have like 2 watercolor paintings.
Okay, yeah. You're doing the airbrush.
Right, that's the last thing that I was doing was airbrushing.
Airbrushing is wild.
So I didn't realize people still wanted it. I got a lot of love in the airbrush industry, more love in the airbrush industry than the tattoo industry.
What would you say really ticked you forward?
I think it's the clients, just trusting me.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I like this. Can you do something like this? Yeah, I could do that.
Right.
And then I'll try to do it.
Yeah, still trying to. Yeah, that's real. That's also going back to your household, right? Like your house, your family life.
Travel softball.
Travel softball cut down my schedule.
It did.
I heard it from Becca, my other artist. She was like, I learned my lesson from mandalas. He didn't leave until like 8. And and it wasn't that big of a piece, but it was just it's time consuming.
Yeah.
The more you push yourself to better yourself, the evolving and elevate, stepping up your game, the more tougher it is on yourself, on you, like mentally and your like body. Whatever my kids are into, for instance, the softball, you somehow have to have an attachment with that softball.
Oh, for sure. Everyone starts somewhere. No one's great. Everybody has to start from the bottom. Work hard.
Work hard.
One of these days, Instagram, all that might be disappearing.
It's gonna be gone.
Yeah, you just never know.
You're gonna get back to like flyers and cards, business cards. You know
That's
what I mean?
David right there all day long.
Oh yeah, that's how we started. Dude, that was our start. We had to go brochure it up,
he still
man.
does it. David will be booked out for a year. So I'm gonna go flyer. I'm like,
Here we go. Welcome to the studio. Welcome to the shop. Did you reflect on the whole years? Did you ever sit down and reflect on how it went?
Yeah, this year was a lot of change.
Yeah.
Not as far as like the tattoo side of it, but as far as like family and kids and people we surrounded ourselves around and stuff like that. A lot of that stuff it was a big change this year for sure.
Yeah. For us, it's kind of hard to say day one, right? Like new year, new me. I don't know about you, but it didn't feel like a New Year's, right? It was kind of like another day.
Yeah, because normally I don't do that anyway. So I go to sleep the same time. I wake up the same time. And it's just another day to me, you know. So no new year, new me.
Because you're just on a routine. You have a schedule. Yep. So yeah. And that's how we are. Like we're very schedule oriented. Before you were tattooing, did you ever have that? Like, did you have a structure, or did that develop as you were tattooing? How did that work?
I would work 6 days a week because I would help my dad. He has a gardening and landscape service.
Okay, yeah.
So we'd mow yards all week, and then on the weekends we would do like landscapes, like sods, sprinkler systems, stuff like that. So I would work, and then after that I would just go skate. Oh
yeah, you're a skater, right? You're like a skater by heart. Is that how you kind of? Yeah.
I didn't get to do any graffiti. I just never really did art until I started tattooing.
Okay.
Until I started getting tattooed.
Right.
And then once I started getting tattooed is when it kind of happened.
Throughout this year, I'm sure this year was like busy for you too, right? Because you said you had changes. What would you say, what caused that snowball of what was like busy? What was hectic? Was there like a certain adaptability of like changes with not only clients, our surroundings, our influences, the people around us, but also like our industry, you know? Like, did you kind of feel like or if it's like not necessarily like whether it's a social media thing, but your home life, and now it's like, but I also got to stack up my calendar, and I also have to, right? Because you just mentioned earlier that you start your day at 4 a.m., and we'll get into that. Because I'm curious how you got into that. What made this year busy for you to just be like, what do you think it was? So
I think what my biggest change this year was my oldest daughter plays travel softball.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
So she joined a different team that's a little bit more travel than what we were doing. So we would be in like SoCal every other weekend. So my schedule got a little bit shorter.
And weekends are the cracking days. Yep. Those are the days you need to be chimed in.
She does like lessons. Like all her lessons are in the evening. and then she plays school sports, and my other daughter plays school sports.
Gotcha.
So like my schedule went from being like full-time artist, being able to work past 6 to like gotta be off by like this kid has a game at 3:30, this kid has a game at 4:30.
Yeah.
Like she's playing in Visalia, she's playing in Hanford, and then they still got their weekend team that they play with. So like that was all a bunch of chaos.
I feel that, dude. Because back in the day, we used to be here 2-3 in the morning on the daily, huh?
Yeah, well, yeah. See, when I first started, I was able to do that, but I didn't start work till 12 o'clock then.
Right.
But now I start work at 10 to try to be off by 6, 4 to 6, somewhere in that area.
So you have those dedicated clients that are down to meet you at.
It's crazy.
At 10 in the morning.
I didn't think that was like possible.
Right.
And then like the other people I was working with, all of them were doing it, and I was like, all right, let me see if I could do it. So as soon as my kids were old enough to be in school and I have a baby at home to watch, I was able to make that change, and I would never go back. Yeah,
it's easier, huh? Especially when you know what you're doing every day and for the month, it makes life a little easier. And your wife, I'm sure she kind of is grateful and fortunate, right?
Yeah,
because we can like filter out, but the communication I'm sure has to get in play because I don't know what her schedule is, but then y'all got to be on that same ground, right? It'll be like, okay, what do you need? What days do you need me to be off? When do you need me to be present? And then you personally have to step back and be like, when does my household need me, right? So it's like, when do I need to be home? When do I need to be present? When I was apprenticing, I had a few clients that would get off a graveyard shift and they wanted to get a session at 6 in the morning, bro.
Crazy.
I don't know how I used to do that. I don't know how I did that, but I think it was one of that because I was so like, it's a different hungry, right? It's a different hunger and eagerness, right? Because you're like, you just got the bug of tattooing. You just fell into this whole like, all right, I'm starting to tattoo. And then now I'm starting to build my little head of clients. And then I'm like, I got to get it in now. And I feel like I'm behind, right? And I'm just starting. This was 10, 11. And so I had those guys, man, and they would knock out. They would just go to sleep because they just got off a graveyard shift, and I'm tattooing their calves or whatever. And it's 6 in the morning. I don't know how I did that, dude.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Multiple times. A guy, like I said, it was a few heads of like a few clients of those. But anyways, so then you have to really figure out the whole schedule structure. And this year, I don't know, man. This year is just kind of like I've been hearing it from different people, from clients, because I'm sure when you're working on your people, like a few days ago. All December, I feel like everything was just hating us, dude. Like everything flew by this year. Kind of like it was from October, then it's Thanksgiving, and then it's like this year's gone.
Yeah, exactly.
The year's gone.
Mark and Dom and David, they used to put together mainly Mark. He would put together like a little Christmas party between tattooers within like our little community right there, Hanford, Lemoore, Ramona, and everything. And we would get together and do like a little gift exchange and everything. But that was cool though. Trying to keep peace, trying to get everybody together. As many.
Community.
Before it used to be like that. Like go to this tattoo shop, say what's up, and
you're right.
And then people started butting heads for some reason because competition, I guess. And
I don't know what it is.
I don't know.
To have a fellow peer. That's why that was another thing when I started this project. I wanted to connect with artists. It doesn't matter where they're from. People I know, people I never knew, whatever the case. Because I like Joseph, I've never met him, met him, and then he came in and we were able to just chill, dude, and it was dope. But then I also want to bring in clients that are like that have been like almost like your day ones, right? And if you have something you want, like they've contributed to my art, and now like in a sense it's still collaborating with your like different mediums of clients, and like it is a collaboration. Like this is a collaboration, like where we're putting our stories and together. And I think that's when I built this. I was like, I really want to just reach out to everybody I can, again, for that same thing you just mentioned, for that whole community, and that having the peers in. And it's good, man. It's good for them. It's good as I guess like the natural, that interaction of how often do you ever get to really set off this time besides when you go to the gym, but you're still putting in that hard work at the gym. Like you go to the gym and you're grinding, right? Your mind's there. You don't go just to chill, to hang out. You go there to get it done, make that time count. you're working on yourself, but you're in motion. That's what I'm trying to say. You're not at rest. How often do we, throughout 365 days, are we able to do this? Just sit and talk. And how often? And when we're in the shop, like my other artists, sometimes we miss each other. Like I'm here in the morning, like you, and then I'll be leaving, and she's here, and then or vice versa, whatever. But it's like we don't really have a lot of time to really just sit and talk. So, and then the shop isn't like I have 12 artists here or 5 artists, right? I used to work at shops where it was a lot of people around.
Yeah.
So you're able to bounce off each other and like feed off each other in a sense, and like really build that community. And then outside of shops, like you mentioned, it used to be like that, and it's a weird shift right now. But with that said, this is Tattooing Out Loud. Welcome to the shop, bro. This is a Happy New Year to everyone. All right, let's get this cracking. So go ahead and give us your intro.
Bobby Box from Hanford, California. I work at a 92 Proof Tattoo. I've been tattooing for about 12 years, I believe, somewhere in that area. I really don't have a style. I kind of just have to do what walks in. I got kids to feed.
Right. Yeah. I got them bills.
I enjoy black and gray though.
Yeah. I like that. What's my style? I gotta put food on the table. That's my style. That's a good one.
Yeah.
I like that.
But we're so close to that Navy base right there. So
that's right.
We got people from everywhere. Yeah. So then, some people want traditional, some people want color.
Yeah.
Some people want realism, a lot of that line work style.
Right.
So I just gotta stay open minded and not put myself in a box.
You're comfortable getting out of, not to say like I'm only this is my jam, right? You like to, what led up to that? Did you start off at so where did you start tattooing? How did you get into this?
So originally when I first started tattooing, I started getting tattooed first. I would follow this guy around. They would call him Gorilla. And he was institutionalized, so he, homemade machines, single needle, and that's the first person I got tattooed by. And after I started getting a couple of tattoos, I was like, I feel like I could do this. So I started drawing a little bit, and then after a while, people would call me to get tattooed by him because he didn't have a phone.
Sure.
Because he was just, this guy that would just roam the streets, and he was just a really good artist. And so people would call me up like, I'll go find him. He was homeless.
How you supposed to find him?
So I would drive around. I'd go to the south side.
This was in Hanford or Port? Okay, yeah.
I'd go to south side. I'd go to Civic. Finally find him, link him up, make him some money. I'd set him up, watch him, make his stencils for him. He would draw them, and we'd do it with like a big pen, and then slap it on with deodorant or whatever. And people would call me up like, he's in jail. And they're like, fuck. They're like, how am I supposed to get tattooed?
Wait, so this guy, his name's Gorilla, right?
Yeah, he's Gorilla.
He's a homeless dude. Yep. So you learned originally. Okay. Yeah. Here we go. Let's get into it.
That's crazy.
Let's get into it. Yeah. So Gorilla, shout out Gorilla.
Yeah. R.I.P. Yeah.
R.I.P. Bro. Yeah. Damn. That was your boy that gave you your start. So then, all right, you're looking for homeboy Gorilla, and then you're doing stencils for him. He has a big pen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if people know this now. Everybody got iPads and printers.
So, give a little history report. Yeah.
So if you could trace it like with a big pen and then stencil with that, but it's just mirrored. That's the only problem. But I would do that, and after a while, he was like, "Hey," he was like, "You have a steady hand," and I was like, "He's like, you could tattoo." He's like, "I feel like you could tattoo just by watching you do stencils." So eventually, one of my buddies, Max, he let me do my first tattoo on him. And it was just smooth. And I was like, oh, yeah, I think I could do it. And then people would still call me. I was like, he's in jail. I was like, but I got a tattoo machine now.
Right.
I was like, I'll do it. And then some people were like, I'm good. And some people were like, well, you watch Gorilla, you're good. Yeah. I was like,
Where were you learning at? Where was he at, though, when you were learning from him? Like
house to house.
Oh, okay, house to house. Oh, so he was showing up to the people's houses, and then you would just pull
I would go
him?
Find them. We go to their house, and he would,
Dang, that's crazy, dude.
I would spend hours with him. I remember the first time I went to go get tattooed by Gorilla. My buddy came to my house and he woke me up. He's like, "Hey, I need lotion." I was like, "What do you need lotion for?" He's like, "I got a tattoo." I was like, "Oh, that's tight. I want to get tattooed by that guy."
Yeah.
And he was like, "I'll take you." So we went over there, knocked on his door. He opened the door. He's like, "Oh, what's up?" And he's like, "Oh, my friend wants to get a tattoo." He's like, "Oh, you can't just show up here." And I was like, "All right." He's like, "Come by tomorrow." And then I went by, and then he was like right across the street from the skate park. He was like, "What do you want to get done?" I was like, "Oh, I want to get a lion." He He's like, okay. He's like, come tomorrow. And he's like, give me a $30 deposit. I was like, all right.
Taking deposits, my boy.
Yeah, there's a whole nother story to that part. But he was like, $30. I was like, all right. So where do you work at? I was like, I work at Gottschalk's.
Oh.
Way back in the day, selling shoes. And then he was like, all right. And then that next day, I'm like, where's this fool at? This fool ditched me. And then like,
wait, hold on. Do you got time to tell that other part of the story of the deposit?
Yeah,
you got a little bit of time to kill. Yeah, I'll edit it in from we were talking about him. Yeah.
So then he was like $30, and I was like, all right. And then he was like, where do you work? I was like, Gottschalk's. And he's like, all right. And then like this fool shows up like 2 weeks later at Gottschalk's with a tattoo magazine.
Oh.
He's like, oh, I found the lion for you, and he shows me a picture of a lion. It's like like this big. It's out of a tattoo museum.
That's your reference.
Magazine. I was like, okay. I was like, he's like, give me another $30. I was like, all right.
Practically buying him another.
Yeah.
What was the story on that though? What did he like?
He just wasn't straight edged. He was
smoking it off or something.
Yeah. So, yeah, for sure. And then so I was like, you know what? I'll give you $30. So I gave him $30 more bucks, and that fool.
So you're already in 60.
Then he ditched me again.
Damn, boy.
And then like,
you're finding him at Gottschalk's?
He came and found me.
Oh, you're right.
Because he was like, I need to make $30 more today. I don't know what it was about $30, but everything was $30 for this guy.
$30 back in the day, huh?
But finally,
$30 takes you far.
It's crazy. And then like finally, like a week and a half later, he finally tattooed me. And he did a piece like this big for $60.
What was it?
A lion.
The lion?
Yeah.
How'd it come out?
It came out good.
Yeah.
I'm dark now, so it's like, and it's all single needles, so it's like, it came out good. And then I ended up getting tattooed like every other week, and that's kind of how I got started in all this.
But he was, when he told you can't just be showing up here, where was he at?
He was at his cousin's house or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it like a trap joint or?
No. He just, it's just.
He's just like another.
Yeah, he just didn't want people knocking at the door. So.
That's like shasty, bro.
You're
crazy. Down to do that though, dude.
It was
like,
crazy.
Think about it. How old were you at the time? You were what?
I was like 20.
Okay,
19
so you were
20.
okay.
I didn't start getting tattoos. I didn't even care about tattoos.
Right.
I was working, going to school.
That's pretty down though to be that age and just show up to this dude's like.
It's like, I want
and to go through that though, bro. Like that's wild.
I didn't go. I didn't step foot into a shop until I met Chris.
Okay.
Because I knew Chris from the skate park, and then we were at a party one time, and then my buddy Richard, rest in peace, Richard. Dang, that's crazy. He was like, "Hey man, my buddy did this tattoo. I did a lion on him." And he was like, "Hey, my buddy did this tattoo. He wants to learn how to tattoo." He's like, "What do you think?" He goes, "It looks like shit."
Oh, nice.
And then he was like, "He wants to apprentice." He's like, "Tell him to come by the shop." And then I had met him right then and there. We kind of knew each other already.
Yeah.
And then I show up to the shop when he tells me to show up. And then, oh no, he'll be right back. This fool shows up and he was like, all right, let's go. We're leaving. He was done for the day. I was like, oh my God.
Dang. That's a wrap.
Yeah. But Chris was always good. He always supported it. And then I ended up getting back in there about a year later with David. So
that's crazy, man. There's a whole like wrap around of it.
Yeah.
That's wild, dude. Did you have like an apprenticeship?
I did. So I was working at this shop. And then I wasn't getting anywhere. So I ended up quitting. Had a little falling out with the owner and stuff. One day we were going for a ride, me, my dad, and his buddy Rebel. And we were going to go to Kingsburg. They used to have a blueberry waffle or something.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to go eat. We were on our motorcycle. We froze our ass off. We turned around, got the cars, and went to Denny's. And then he's like, you still tattooing? I was like, well, a little bit. And he's like, I could get you in with David.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I kind of know David. He's like, I'll call him and talk to him. I was like, all right, cool. He called him, talked to him, and then David was like, come by, we'll talk, and we'll see what we can do.
Right.
And then I ended up getting an apprenticeship with David.
That's what's up.
Him and he had a guy from Pennsylvania that had just started there too. Both of them helped me out.
That's cool. How long was that? How long did he put you on for, like, to actually, like, sit, watch, learn? And how was that experience? Because I'm going to have David on here too. I don't know if he told you, but I reached out to him too.
He had mentioned it a while back. It was weird because originally when he was like, oh yeah, come by, talk to me, I pulled up and I was like, hey, how's it going? And he's like, what's up, man? How can I help you today? I was like, oh, you told me to come by for the apprenticeship. He's like, oh, you're that guy. I was like, fuck. I was like, you don't even know it. But if you know David, that's just how David is. Though. No, but, so then he was like, oh yeah. He's like, let me see what I'm gonna do, because he had an apprentice at that time already. And then he's like, I'm gonna talk to another girl here that works here and see what she wants to do. And then so then I showed back up and he's like, hey, that's not gonna work out. And he talked to John. He's like, hey, John, you mind helping me out with this guy? John just worked there for like a week. He's like, okay. And then, so then I got there. I got there before John. John went in there and he's like, hey, I just got this little, I think he was doing like a little bird or a skull or something. He was drawing it on with Sharpies. I was like, is that okay if I watch? He goes, yeah. He's like, you can hang out on the couch. He's like, I'm going to be drawing with Sharpies for a little bit and then I'll start tattooing. I was like, is it okay if I watch you draw with the Sharpies? He's like, yeah. He's like, that's fine. So I stood behind him. I watched him draw it on, tattoo it, and finish it. And David goes, hey, what do you think about him? He goes, I like him. He'll stay here.
Just like that.
I was like,
you're
cool.
hired. Right on.
He's like, just you wanted to watch me draw it on, which was pointless. He's like, that was.
Did you have any like a portfolio to bring or anything? How did that? What was your mindset trying to get into your first shop? Because I'm curious how many times you've told the story and how long it's been since you even told the story. Because I'm sure a lot of people don't even know about this, right?
Yeah, a lot of it, like the gorilla thing. No,
yeah,
like,
that's wild, dude. That's the first time.
It was
that's
crazy,
the first time.
bro.
So that's funny though. Your apprenticeship was like your first actual, how should I say it? Like the bite into tattooing was with a homeless. My first tattoo was tattooing a homeless guy, bro.
Oh, that's crazy. He did my first tattoo.
Yeah,
actually.
no, I tattooed this dude and I wasn't tattooing yet, bro. I was just dude, I was hanging out at the shop and there was a homeless guy that would just come in and clean windows, ask for like a few dollars or whatever. And one day he went in to ask the guys if he can get a tat. Because he's been doing work, he's like, instead of money, I want to get a tattoo. Like instead of paying me dollars or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I'm in my work shirt from a 9 to 5 at the shop just to hang around. And they're like, oh, Omar tattoos. And I was like, no, I don't. I'm like, yeah, you do. And he told another artist, hey, set him up. It was, you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, right?
Act like you've done it forever.
Yeah. So, and I knew exactly what was going on. So I went and I was like, yeah, man, let's sit you down, bro. What do you want? He's like, I want a scorpion on my hand. Bro, I've never touched the tattoo machine. I've never done any kind of serious art on that level. I was just getting tattooed, right? I sit down with homeboy at one of the artist stations and everyone's laughing and they just gave me some like whatever supplies was hanging around.
Yeah.
And this guy was there just jacked. And bro, it was kind of low key cringy because he was there, bro, and his hand was just like calloused in a bad, like I've seen some, I don't know, man. That guy had some flaky hands, right? He sat down and I'm like, yeah, let me stencil it out. And the same artist that set me up was like, you don't need a stencil, just do it. And I was like, okay. So, you know what I mean? So he's like, hey, I was going to draw it with like a freehand pen, right? And he's all, hey, you don't even need to stencil it. You just do it. So, bro, empty hand. And I'm just sitting there just doing like a little claw, a little, and then just circles is the like, and then circles the body. It was the worst. Anyways, but yeah, my first was with on a homeless.
Crazy.
You learn from it. Yeah, it's hilarious. So then what did you bring to the table to when you first walked in with David?
Him and Rebel were really, really close. So
okay.
That was
your voucher.
That was pretty much good.
That was your card in.
But I did show. I had a little portfolio because I had worked at that other little shop. So I had like a photo album.
It was like Polaroids.
Yeah,
4x6s or something. Yeah.
I was like, this is what I got. He's like, it's not too bad. And then John looked at it. He goes, back in Pennsylvania, there's 20-year veterans that aren't doing this good. So you're not too far behind.
There's your vote of confidence.
and then John, I always remember because John was like, now that you know what not to do, let's teach you what to do.
Right. That's a good way to put it. Huh? So let's first create your bad habits and then let's like erase them. Them. Yeah. I like that.
Because when I first started, I would use nothing but 5 rounds.
Okay.
5-round liners.
Let's go.
And then they're like, you can't get away with tattooing like that. Now that's all I do.
Right.
Everybody likes the dot work stuff.
What's up now? Yeah, dude, you've been putting out some mean dot work. Everything, bro, like your brush work, everything. We'll get into all that. So then you had your 5 rounds, and did you know the concept of needles and all that? Like differences and...
Kind of.
Were you scrubbing tubes? Did you ever scrub tubes? Did you go through that
one
kind
time.
of... Oh wow, one time, huh?
Yeah. And then we went disposable. I scrubbed them one time for
Dang,
David.
so you just barely got the little scratch the surface of that.
Barely.
Dude, that was a hellhole, bro.
But when I did start there, I had rotaries. I had a stealth rotary.
The stealths.
They're like
Those are
little
cool.
black box ones. And John's like, that's not going to work. You got to know how to build a machine, tune a machine, and use a coil machine. And then so we went in the back, we sat down, and I built a machine, and then I used it for a little bit. And then,
do you remember what kind of machine it was? Was it like a?
He had a freaking graveyard just full of parts,
just frames and all that, coils. Yeah.
I think he built that frame.
Okay.
And then we put like a little golden dollar on the side of it. But I ended up having that one, Eddie Munster.
Oh, Eddie Munster. Yeah.
Mustache liner.
Yeah.
No more coils.
No, I was gonna ask you how many coils do you have? Nothing.
I think I still have a build it yourself workhorse irons.
Workhorse.
Yeah, I have one of those still.
Yeah.
I gave all my good ones away though. I gave them to a buddy of mine. He still used them.
Really?
Yeah.
So you never even really just kept them for keepsake, just to say,
nah,
have my coil drawer. No, nothing like that.
I never liked them.
Okay.
I always liked rotaries.
So you weren't like in sync with like you felt like you weren't in sync with it, like with a coil to like.
Because I started with the rotary.
I got you.
And so when
it's kind of hard
going back. It felt like I was going backwards. For me.
Sure.
And then as soon as I could get rid of them, I got like funny. A Spectra Direct.
A Spectra. My first rotary was like that Dragonfly.
Oh, okay.
And then like I tried
a big old bar.
Yeah. Then I tried like the reason why I liked it was because you can have a clip cord on it and the RCA.
Oh, okay. And you could adjust the give too, right? The hit, the top, and the stroke.
The top end, you could put the tension.
Yeah.
I at one point was starting to collect like certain. I was just like picking and choosing which rotaries I wanted to have. Like I needed an Aaron Kane. I needed a. Like a teacup or like the Mean Mug, right? Yeah. Or I needed a Seth's machine, and then like Soba, things like that. Like I was just picking and choosing.
Yeah.
But I know I could pick it up and just like, well, I don't know if I could. I just know I can pick it up and they'll fire off, right? Like it'll work.
Yeah.
With like minor adjustments. Yeah.
It's gonna start hurting.
But that's the only thing why I don't. I have a client that he asked me to do a very traditional tattoo. It's coming up in, I think like on the 20th, right? On the inauguration day. He wants to get a very a very patriotic kind of thing. You know? He wants to have that day. He just wants to be getting a tattoo on that day, and it looks like an American traditional tattoo for that day, right?
Oh, nice.
But then he told me, I want you to do it with a coil machine. So... And it might not sound like all that, like, whoop-de-whoop, right?
Yeah,
but no, to me, it sucks, dude.
It's a lot of work.
I'm going to have to train that whole week, remember those guitars? I don't know if you ever play with the guitar or the grip strengtheners, right?
Yeah. I have some.
I'm going to have to do that all week and just kind of pump it, boy. Then you got rid of all your coils. How many coils would you say you had? Did you ever have like a...
I had like 6.
Okay, not too many.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, all right. Yeah. So you were for sure locked in with... what do you use right now? What kind of rotary?
Bishop. Shader.
Okay.
I've been stuck on that one for a while. I had an inkjector before that. Then I had the Flight. Those are pretty much.
You can't. Yeah, I mean, it was a hard transition for me from coil to rotary. It was
the hardest part was the lines.
Yeah.
You have to learn, you have to reteach yourself how to pull lines, especially because I use a shader for lining.
Right.
So
right.
It's like a little bit harder.
Yeah, and then and when it's a very feely thing. So with the coil, I mean, you're feeling that. The armature bar, every hit, pop, 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 you're feeling it. That vibration is a little more intense. It's very low impact on the wrist, but it does enough overall. And the hearing, I'm deaf in this ear because of the coil being on this side.
Yeah, and
I've had some jackhammers that were just like loud. Super loud on this side, and I never realized it until where we're at now. At this age, I'm starting to have to, when my son's talking to me, I have to turn my hair wait, what? And he's literally here to the screen, right? He's just like...
My wife hates it.
Yeah, right? So I'm not the only one.
What do you... She's like, I'm right here. I was like, never mind.
I don't mean to be annoying. I tell him, I'm like, hey, it's just it just really, I lost decibels of hearing, man. It's just like the damage of, But it's funny, so that it's a very feely thing when you're starting with a coil, and then when I got into the rotaries, I just love the practicality of everything being so compact and
simple.
But it wasn't just because of that. The time you can work on a tattoo, I know guys that are to this day, they're just they can pull off the same work with the coil, but that's just their, and that's great. But like you said, you have your specific brush that you go to.
Yeah.
And so your machine is your rotary. From there, you stuck it out with, after you apprentice, you just stuck it out at that shop, right?
Yeah.
And which shop? This is 92 or?
92 proof,
okay,
yeah.
Okay, 92 proof. All right. So you stuck it out there. Obviously, everything's worked out because you've been there for how long?
12 years.
12 years, dude.
Working next to
That's
David.
crazy, dude. You survived. Or I should say you're still surviving. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's dope. Yeah, because I'm going to ask him about all that because, I mean, there's a lot behind David, bro. He's a wild boy. You know what I mean?
He's calmed down.
Oh, no, I love
David's
to hear.
great. Yeah,
he's an awesome dude. You know what I mean? How should I say it? There's a lot of stigma with shops. Not any shop, every shop. You'll hear something about something.
For sure.
And it's every industry too. It's not just our industry. You'll hear it in the construction, the plumber, the electrician. Yeah. So in the gyms, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Gym politics is just as bad, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's wild. So yeah, anyways, I never understood it when I hear something about someone and I'm like, that's kind of like telling you that movie's trash.
Right.
Don't go see it. If you're a fan of whatever the movie is, right? If it's like a series or the show, you have to, for yourself, or your own side of it, your own lens of it, your own opinion. So I never understood any of that, how people get to that level. And then there's the detachment of the community within artist to artist.
Right.
Because I love when we were able to have events and just have, come out. And Lurk had something, I'd go support. I didn't necessarily want to have to tattoo. Recently, I got invited to a Friday the 13th one because I didn't get a chance to do one, but I just wanted to go and say what's up to people. Just go say hi and that's it. And I didn't feel pressured to do it, even though I had people asking. I don't know if you get the same thing whenever you do it. Any event like that, it's like, are you guys doing Halloween events? Did you get any of those?
We do get them, but I'm usually booked.
Yeah.
So I usually
ahead of time.
I don't even realize it's Friday the 13th until people are calling like, "Hey, you guys doing any specials?"
That's the thing, right? You're like,
special tattoos all day.
It's like, wait, what are you talking about? Every day is a special. Every day is a special, my boy. Just get it in when you fit in, you know? Yeah, okay. So then, I get people asking me, and sometimes I'll tell them, I think so-and-so is doing one, contact them.
Yeah.
I'm not doing it, unfortunately. I'll tell people, but this last Halloween, I was trying to do it wasn't like necessarily like Halloween flash, but I just wanted to do like something that's like this, like horror, and I was able to pull stuff off. But you're right, man, we're booking ahead of time, so events like that do sneak up out of us. And then, do you guys still do like an annual thing at the shop, or
no?
At a point, or do you ever do something for like recognition of how long you've been tattooing, or like this is my 8th, 12th year or whatever, you never done anything like that? I've never kept track. I
just keep going and then I'll think about it like,
right.
So
what's funny is the algorithm, your own Instagram will tell you which photo or what top pictures of this year are the most popping compared to what is like your audience. And you can't even agree on that, because you're like, how does it know that it's based on like, again, the likes or whatever, which is a wild thing. It's pretty crazy, man. All that authenticity and the trying to be right. You see it in a lot of people. But so then you started, you're there at 92. You're also doing paintings, right? With like different how did you get into that, like besides the
So I started painting probably like 5 years ago now. Maybe about 5 years ago. But I just seen somebody was having an airbrush class. And I was like,
airbrush was your first like attempt to any kind of canvas? No, like watercolors, oils, none of that?
No, before that I did graphite, and then I did color pencil.
Okay.
And then I learned the color pencils from a guy, with John, so going all the way back.
Sure, yeah.
So with John, he would make me use those like Faber-Castell lining pens and Prisma markers.
Right.
And he's like, you need to do flash with line weight and markers. And he's like,
so you weren't painting with a watercolor, you were painting with a marker?
I can't watercolor.
Oh, you can't watercolor?
I have like 2 watercolor paintings.
Okay, yeah. But you can bust it out with a marker, right?
Yeah, but with like markers and stuff, I could use markers. So for a long time,
that's funny because I can't do marker. I can, but not like what I do with watercolor. I can't imitate that with. I can't recreate that with marker. I can't like.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure if I sat down and tried, I could probably learn it. But yeah, he was like, this is the closest thing to tattooing that you're gonna find.
For sure.
And he's like, so get this. So I bought a bunch of watercolor paper and I bought a couple of sets of Prismas, and I would do a lot of marker drawings, and that's how I'd make my flash, was with Prisma markers. And
because you have a good collection of like just paintings you've done. You've entered art shows, right? Mm-hmm. You've done your own little art stuff, and everything you bust out, man. It's just been crazy. Into the actual art medium, you started airbrushing, right? You're doing the airbrush.
Right. That's the last thing that I was doing was airbrushing. So
airbrushing is wild.
So I didn't even realize people still wanted it, and like, there's a guy that would move from Florida, and he did color pencils, but he also airbrushed. So then I started learning how to use color pencils, and I was like, I want to learn how to airbrush, but he never had time to like teach me. And there's a guy in town named Trigger Happy. Okay. His name's Taylor. He started having airbrush classes. So every time he had one, I would do it.
Does he airbrush on cars, everything?
He does everything.
Okay,
he's crazy.
Yeah.
The stuff he does is just unreal. So I would, when he did them, he would just have classes, and then I was like, oh, I could probably figure this out. Yeah. And then I just started doing it, and I was like, this is fun.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I got a lot of love in the airbrush industry, more love in the airbrush industry than the tattoo industry.
Okay.
So like I've been in like 3 different magazines. I've won awards. I've won like even like the big brands and stuff. Like they like show appreciation. They repost me and stuff like that. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I was like, I thought, I'm new to this. Like,
what kind of airbrush? What airbrush gun do you use?
Iwata.
Iwatas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Eclipse. I did a Day of the Dead girl with like a cathedral window behind it, and that got me a full sheet in a Lowrider Sing magazine.
That's dope.
I was like, okay, that's cool. And then see my name in there and stuff like that. And then I entered a competition out of Florida called Flying Pistons, and I painted a rap fink, and then it got so you donate it, but then there's a $200 winning. Okay. So I won $200.
Cool.
And then they auctioned it off, and now it's hanging up in, I think, Idaho at the National Motorcycle Museum.
That's sick.
So that's like, dang, that's pretty.
That's badass because it's a rap fink and then everything with like the choppers and bobbers and all that. Yeah. Like that's sick. And you know what I mean?
I go to a lot of these paint clinics. There's a place in Goshen called S&K, and they always do like it's a paint clinic, but everybody usually brings a piece of art, and you like auction it off. And, and to see people like these are like fucking custom painters and shit, and they're looking at my work. They're like, that's dope.
Yeah.
So that was always a good feeling.
If you ever mention it to them that you're also a tattoo artist, do you ever say like, oh, that explains it? Do you ever get that?
Kind of.
Yeah. They say, well, like, that's kind of cheating. Yeah. you come out with like I got a one up on everybody. Because that's cool that you're actually investing into that though. You know what I mean? Because that's like a whole nother. Would you say is that your hobby? Like, is that your?
It was.
Okay.
So then what happened was people would ask me to paint stuff for them.
Oh.
And then I was like, and I would take a couple of jobs, and then I would never do them.
Right.
But I never took deposits.
Yeah.
So like, I don't feel like doing this. I'll paint what I want to paint, and it'll either sell or I'll give it away.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, because then it kind of sucks the fun out of it. Yeah. Like it's hard to paint flash now because that was like my job. You're working on your blends and everything, trying to get down create this hand, right, of tattooing. But I don't know the last time I'll be able to sit down and just watercolor paint something.
Yeah.
But I'll get motivated and I'll just get a weird, like, if I find that spark, I have to sit down and do it. If not, I'm not going to do it. I have a whole airbrush booth back there, but I've not. Sick. Yeah. I've been doing it for a while, but I mix airbrushing with paintbrush, which I'm sure you do the same, right? Have you ever done that with like on a canvas, or everything's just all airbrush?
Everything's all airbrush.
Yeah, because that's very hard just to be on a canvas like this and just, just be like
little tricks.
Right. That's cool. So I mean, I'm sure they're like to everything, but I think what I do is I just try to, if I create a gradient, it's using that blend with an airbrush and then going back sharp with a brush and actually doing certain things, right? Because there are certain things I'm just feel that very tangible pull, right? Versus this is in thin air, it's like midair off of the canvas. But that's dope. So then after that, you got airbrushing. You've been attending the clinics. You also went to a pinstriping one, right? Local one.
Yeah. Local to here. Yeah.
Do you know Julio or no?
I do know Julio.
Okay. Yeah.
I've met him at that S&K place.
Okay, yeah.
And then I also see him he used to show up at Fresno. He would go to
at the tattoo convention. Yeah,
he used to
yeah.
set up outside.
Yeah, he was there. He was there putting in work, dude. Shout out to Julio. I had him on. I forget what episode we did, but I had him on here to tell his story because I've known him for a long time.
Oh, nice.
And he's just always had beautiful cars, beautiful like work. Yeah. The stuff that he does at his age, I was like just tripping out that, you know, it's something like a lost art, dude, pinstriping. And I used to love I knew an apprentice guy that was pinstriping anything. Like he would, at the tattoo shop, he'd pinstripe door frames, just sick. Senseless things. He'd go to the dispenser or whatever. He's over there pinstripe, you know, but it's so sick.
Yeah.
And that paint and the brush is it's very particular. It's very like, you know, but I love all that art. And when I see him do like Gold Flake, you mess with Gold Flake, right? You do all that or no?
I haven't done Gold Flake.
Oh, really? Well, there's one that you did. Oh, a board, that skateboard, because you're doing skateboards, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tell me about that painting. What is that?
So that's all like auto body paint. So
okay. So
it's base coat, and then it's called a Metal Jewel by House of Color. So it's an 8-sided flake. And then after that, it's just all candy paint over the top of it.
Because it looks like you're doing some sort of Gold Flake.
Yeah,
right?
some of it does look like, and that's just like, you know, the pearls. You know, just the different kinds of paint. Like House of Color, their stuff's insane.
Yeah. So you imagine you go to a car show and to see on panels the airbrushing stuff they pull off, that stuff to me is wild, bro. It's crazy. Or like bikes on a fender that bends and it's like this narrow.
Yeah.
And they're busting out some crazy, you see it on helmets. I mean, it's endless, but... Yeah. Who was your inspiration with tattooing, with art, everything? Like, who did you start gravitating towards as far as like an artist, or like, how did you start developing? Because I know you said I don't really have a style, but who would you say was a really cool influence, inspirational influence with a lot of your like?
It was probably John and David.
Oh, okay. Like, so the boys you're with.
Yeah. Mainly.
You didn't ever get exposed to anything like on a magazine or anything? Like if you, a tattoo magazine, you're like, oh, this is dope. Who's this guy? And then you're like.
Steve Soto was one of them.
Soto?
He used to be in Art Day. Those Lowrider magazine. Mm-hmm. They were like a Mexican.
Like the Chicano Arts one.
Yeah. That one was dope. I remember Steve Soto stood out to me a lot back in the day.
Yeah.
But for the most part, just people that I'm around.
Sure.
So I had to get there before I got to the next level.
For sure,
so, you know, still trying to catch up.
That journey, no, I know. All of us do. Every day is like, every day, man. It's like you can't really cap yourself. Even no matter how long you've been doing it, you got to just keep pushing it so you don't stay, not stranded, but you don't stay like, comfort is like the worst enemy.
You got to stay a student.
Right. You got to stay that, dude. Yeah. Like the samurai. Mm-hmm. You're a master when you die. You're with the, you know what I mean? Exactly. Now you're the master when your master dies. You know, one of those things. It's like shout out to Helios Tattoo Supplies, one of the newest sponsors for the podcast. I'm proud to be a sponsored pro team member using their needles on the daily. Next time you're thinking about stocking up on supplies, head over to the website heliostattoos.com. Thanks again to Helios for sponsoring myself as an artist and sponsoring the pod. Because you're continuously opening these windows of like all these different venues of like learning this art, right? Because you're doing on brush, with airbrushing. And while working with David and John, what did you hit as far as challenges into a shop? Because now you got to think these guys are showing you the ropes of this is what shop ethics is like. Right. This is what it's like to be in a shop from what their own experiences, right? Because that's you and I. We had to learn from people that hopefully they learn from somebody. It's a passed down thing, tradition, right? So like. The way they taught you was very specific to the way they learned. Right. So then how was it growing in that shop? How was it like, what kind of, because we all hit challenges as apprentices and then into being released into the wild, like they say, right? So what would you say was like a struggle, like a tug of war?
So for like the first, I think 3 or 4 years, I would mow yards all morning. And then go to the shop afterwards.
That's what I'm talking about.
Builds, yeah. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I would have, and then mowing yards at 112 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And then trying to go to the shop and be in a good mood, willing to learn. I'm like, let me, but I think that was like one of the hardest things was trying to balance. And then obviously I had a family at home too. Mm-hmm. You know, after.
Did you have any kids like while you were about to tattoo or?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have my oldest. I kind of tattooed them, but it was like I said, it was at home and stuff like that. I didn't really count like until I got that apprenticeship with David and them. That's when I feel like I really started.
Your day one.
Yeah, that was, you know, everything before that was just like, okay, am I going to do this or am I not? So
it's hard to be self-taught. and to say how much have you. There's people that succeeded in self-taught, but you're never really self-taught if you're always still picking up something from somebody in a sense, right? Sure. So you're going from day one with David, right? And you have these 3 years of like, you're still mowing, you're still doing part-timing. Yeah. And then when did you start that? In the early morning? You're doing the...
Yeah, we would start like 7 or 8.
And then shoot to the shop after?
And then some days I would only mow till like 11. And then I think I had like 1 or 2 days that I would mow all day.
What kept you motivated to be like, I just hold on to tattooing?
I don't know.
Because that's the secret, dude. Yeah. You just never quit, right?
I guess people just told me I was going to be good at it. So I was just like, I believed them, I guess. I honestly don't know, because I could have quit a whole bunch of times.
Right.
You know, I had job opportunities and stuff like that, but I was just like, no, I'm gonna ride it out. And when I started there, I never quit.
For sure.
And then I quit mowing, and then I just started tattooing full time. And luckily, I was freaking paying the bills.
Yeah, I know, right? You just hung in there, because you said it perfect. There's a lot of times we could have quit on.
Easily.
We got tested on.
Yeah, for sure.
That's wild. And then did you ever travel with tattooing? Did you ever like take it anywhere as far as guest spots or like?
I've done a couple. As far as guest spotting, John, the first time I guest spotted was with him at Club Tattoo on Pier 39 in San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah.
I got to work out there for like a month, I think, on the weekends.
Oh, cool.
That was super cool.
You were able to just drive out there and just work for the weekend, come back?
Him. Yeah, he stayed in Oakland. I stayed in his house. We'd ride the BART, catch a trolley, go to work, come back. He helped me out getting out there. That was cool. Met a lot of different people over there, because, you know, people get off the boat, they come in, they're like, oh, cool, tattoo shop. Let's get a tattoo while we're here.
It's a novelty thing. Yeah. It's a very, like, it's a very common thing for everybody. It's almost like you hear people when they go to Pismo or they go to LA, touring or traveling. Yeah. They want to get some commemoration. Yeah.
Everybody comes home with those $20 Vegas tattoos.
Oh, dude, that's crazy. Have you run into those?
Oh my God, that's so bad. They're all crooked, and they're like, "What can you do?"
They're tiny.
I was like, "I'm gonna cover it."
That's so crazy, dude.
I was like, "You just gave them $20."
And some clients, they even try to hide it with like a Band-Aid or something. They're so ashamed of it after. Bad. I'm like, so tell me the story. You thought it was a good idea?
Drunk on the strip, right? And got a $20 tattoo at a motel.
Did you? At a motel. Yeah.
Basically, they're like, you know, downstairs.
Yeah, you're over there next to the breakfast bar. Yeah. Have you ever had that in the walk-in shop? At 92, you guys were a walk-in shop, right?
Right.
Okay, and then in San Fran, the club was like a walk-in shop.
Oh yeah, that was straight street shop.
Straight street shop. Okay, perfect. So then you knew the whole you knew all the craziness.
Convention style.
Yeah, okay.
Like straight convention style. Everybody's standing at the screen, like, go talk to them. Go talk to them.
Dang.
You know.
So you knew when you went to SF, it was like,
oh yeah,
like straight, get it. You gotta just be on it. It's like a Sturgis or something, you know? It's like, turning burn. Mm-hmm. So then over here, the street shop, you guys you're barely getting exposed to certain situations that you're like, oh, this is what it's about, right?
Yeah. So luckily with David and them, I mean, he would get a lot of walk-ins, and they were always booked.
Right.
So then there was I kind of knew what I was doing.
You were able to like fish a bit and stuff. So
some stuff, like, you know, early on, he was like, okay, he could do that. And then some stuff, he's like, oh, no, don't do that. But eventually,
he would give you like the approval?
Yeah. Or I'd be like, show him, like, do it. He's like, just act like you've done it forever.
Right. Yeah. Fake the funk.
He's like, just be confident. You should be good.
You're getting exposed to the industry, and then to the raw beginnings of what it's like to be in a street shop. Because I've been tattooing in Blackstone when, you know, prostitutes comes in.
Oh shit!
You know what I'm saying?
See, I've never had to do it.
It's wild. It was like, it might have been the pimp or something, man. Either that or some girl got kidnapped. I don't know. It was chasing down. Blackstone's wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of like being out here too, is because nowadays a lot of shops just lock the front, and if you have an appointment, you're in. Yeah. And if not, you don't have to get in, kind of thing. My boys will come in here and hang out, and I can't do that over there. You know, it's like. So it's kind of nice to be just, you know, a little more private. Did you ever run into anything like that where like someone comes in the shop and it's just like ruckus, or some guy's trying to fight someone in the shop? Or
no, not really.
Nothing too crazy.
Like, because when we first started, we were in Lemoore, and then we were kind of.
See, that's what I'm thinking about, the Lemoore spot. And then
Lemoore spot was kind of like in the back a little bit, so you had to know where you were going to get there.
Right.
It wasn't like not too many people were just walking by.
So advertised.
Yeah, because David was, when I started, David was already established.
Right.
Like he was already established. He already had a good clientele.
Yeah.
So he already had a good rep. Like everybody knew that shop.
Right.
So we knew like we didn't have to deal with like people walking by and anything like that.
Whoever's going in there is going to be good. Yeah.
Even like Hanford, like we're like across the street from like 4 or 5 bars. And we don't have to deal with any of that either.
That's cool.
Yeah. So and we leave the door unlocked all night.
Okay.
And usually it's pretty
chill.
Yeah, pretty chill.
That's good, man.
It's not as bad as Blackstone and Fresno.
I was gonna say Blackstone, that's a whole other thing, bro. We got chasing dudes out with bats. It's crazy.
Yeah. That's
why I'm just curious because I know I hear from different, Lurk had stories like that because he was up and down all these crazy villas and avenues. Yeah. So it's kind of like, I'm just thinking fresh into this, right, into a shop. And then if you don't know what a street shop's about, and then you're just going to have that one day where it's just like, bop, this happens. This is the craziness that they talk about, like the tap. But I guess that's more common, like you said, in those, like Vegas for sure.
Yeah.
You hear those stories. The challenges that stuck in your career, you have these mentors around you, right? And you have these peers you're able to talk to. It's really up to you to do the work. It's really up to you to succeed forward. Mm-hmm. So what did you ever see in this career, that moment when you feel like, okay, tattooing clicked for you? Like the day that you could see blends or gradients or certain black and gray or certain colors that you're like, it's starting to come together. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So I think the first time that I was like with like you said, blends and color, I bought an Eternal set.
Okay.
It was like my first.
The full 250 set or something?
I bought it at Joker Supply in Visalia.
Okay. Yeah.
I drove over there. I was like, I'm going to buy my own ink.
Yeah.
And then I did my first tattoo and I was like, dang, like I saturated that. My blends look good. I was like, oh yeah, that looks good.
Yeah.
But I think just buying that ink set just made me try a little bit harder.
So you would say like
I was more invested in it, I guess. Right. I don't know. Like
your supplies, you boosted, you really put money invested back into your stuff, right? Because you had a legit machine, and then you had like the needles and everything right at all place. But I guess you started venturing with different inks and started getting it together and started to really push. What pushed your art to that next step? Like, what would you say throughout your career? Because I know we're still evolving. Right. Who knows what we're going to do this year and the next. But so like what would you say really ticked you forward to like?
I think it's the clients. Just trusting me.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, I like this. Can you do something like this? Yeah, I could do that. Right. And then I'll try to do it.
Yeah. Still trying to. Yeah, that's real. So I think it helps to have those clients, right?
Right. That
to
trust you,
just allow you to push forward and like help you
get out of that little box or stay out of that little safety area. You know, like portraits. For a long time, I didn't do portraits.
Yeah.
Everybody, do it. I'm like, now I'll go to this person or go check out this guy's work. And I was like, I'm not ready to do them yet.
Sure.
I was like, I'll do celebrity portraits because if they're a little off,
something
like it's okay, you know.
Like if it's a Frankenstein,
But I was like, you want your daughter or your mom? Like, oh man. But I've slowly started getting into those. So, but everybody's like, you could do it. I know you can do it. So,
with your clients, like, how do you feel like you kind of found your little tribe with all your, like, are you taking any new clients or do you, like, how does that work with you whenever you're?
I always take new clients.
Right.
But
I get in line, baby.
I have a solid clientele though.
Yeah.
And
just continuously
good word of mouth and stuff like that. That's why I don't post as much anymore.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. But I always take new clients. I never close my books. I used to get booked out like, 3 to 5 months, but now I'm like 6 weeks.
And then that's also going back to your household, right? Like your house, your family life.
Travel softball.
Travel softball cut down my schedule.
It did. It's crazy.
I feel that, dude.
Yeah,
because when we're trying to set this up, you're talking about programs, like the Christmas programs and all that. Bro,
oh my God.
Why did they schedule it in the most oddball days, dude? I'm like,
in the middle of the day too. They're like, oh, you gotta be here. Like, and then I have they're all 3 years apart, 3 daughters.
Yeah.
So then the baby, hers are at 8:30, and then the next one's at 12 o'clock, and the other one got something the next day. I'm like, oh my God.
That's a lot, man.
It's crazy. Y'all got to start putting these kids together.
Huh? So travel ball comes in the mix, and that's obviously seasonal. So it's all year round. Like
year round.
What? Why would she do that? She better come with a return, bro. Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
You guys have that schedule though, right? Like her practices and then right?
So I have my calendar out of my book, And if it's not in my calendar, it doesn't exist.
Do you use like a digital, like, is it like, okay, you're not like old school with like a paper?
No,
okay,
no.
yeah. Okay.
And then my wife has a calendar in the kitchen.
Yeah.
So I have to make sure that my calendar works with that calendar.
Right, sync it.
Because that calendar overrides my calendar every day.
Yeah, what are we, man? Yeah, we're nothing, you know what I mean?
So,
that calendar's priority, yeah, I get you. So then you're exclusive to get in too, because you only have X amount of time, right? And these people are contacting you, and it makes you kind of like I don't want to say like exclusive, but I'm sure you're very picking out the clients, and when you're booking, you have to really like hone in. What can I fit in? Because lately I've been off of being able to tell my lady like, oh, 4 hours, I'll be back. And it's like 8 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, dude. I don't know. Like I don't know. I missed the mark with it's hard to time it. So I just don't even say a time anymore, because I don't know, especially when you're here, I don't know, a break or something,
right.
Or like, you know, something, like anything. It just kind of adds to the time, whatever. But it's really hard for us to put a time on it, to say, okay, you know, you tell your lady, I'll be back by 6, or I'm going to try to get out by 5. And then towards the end of the tattoo, you're looking at the time. Here
7.
comes the pressure. You're like, dude, right? That's a tug of war, dude.
I stopped giving time frames.
Okay, yeah.
As soon as
there
I'm
you go.
done.
Noted. That's a good advice.
I was like,
don't give out a time frame. Yeah.
She's like, when are you gonna be done? I said, as soon as I finish.
Right.
She hates it. I get in trouble for that one too.
No, I feel it.
But it's just like, I don't want to tell you something and then be wrong, and then now I'm a liar. Like, so,
well, then
but she's super lenient though. She's been supportive since day one.
She's flexible.
So like when I first started and I would mow part time and then tattoo, like I wasn't making a ton of money because I was watching and I was learning, doing little bangers here and there. But she worked full time and she covered
held it down.
That's
what's up.
So then for a little while, you know, when I finally got a little bit established, she was able to take some time off of work or work part time.
Right.
You know, she kind of has that freedom to pick and choose, you know.
Yeah.
But it's because she supported me through my part. So now I'm like, hey,
I got
whatever you want.
I got your back.
Yeah.
That's teamwork right there, dude. How many days out of the week would you say are you tattooing like every day, or is it
Monday through Friday?
Okay, Monday through Friday. You give yourself the weekends a travel ball, right?
Yep.
You start at what, 10?
10.
And
between 9 and 10.
9 and 10, and then you try to get out by?
Depends on the day. Like right now, they're both playing school sports.
Okay.
And then the baby, she does jiu-jitsu.
That's cool. Jiu-jitsu.
So,
have you tried any of that?
So I'm gonna. I used to wrestle in high school.
Okay.
But when the kids go back to school, I'm gonna go back.
All right.
Because I was like, if you do it, I'll do it. So.
You're active though. You go to the gym. What kind of sparked you to do into that? Like I guess to focus on your own health and things like that. What started motivating you to do that? Because
I used to be like 235.
I was saying when was the last time I actually seen you? Because I used to see you at the Fresno show.
Yeah,
right?
at the Fresno show.
And then when was it? Oh, it's been a while.
Yeah,
it's been a long time.
I haven't done a lot of conventions. It's Fresno, Modesto, City of Trees. They had it for like 1 year.
That's like in
Sac,
yeah.
They had it for like 1 or 2 years, and then I did one out in the Bahamas.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How was that?
Tatlantis.
Yeah,
it was cool. It was a really great experience.
Right.
So Fucksticks hosted it, but it was like they were giving out big awards.
Yeah.
Like big money awards. So it was kind of like bring your own client because you had to do like
you had to really like bring it.
Because no one's going to the Bahamas to get tattooed. They want to get in the water, you know?
Right.
So
it's more of like a it makes I guess them a little more competitive. Huh?
But it was fun. It was a great time. Me and David went. David took me out there actually. That was like my 5-year mark with him, I think, and he took me out there with him. Yeah, people were knocking out full back pieces in 2 days. Like 3 people working on it.
No numbing cream.
The whole leg all the way up to the hip. There were some bad people. Ryan Smith was there.
Oh yeah.
Ink by Saga was there. There's a bunch of like really, really good people.
Have you seen that cruise ship?
Mm-mm.
There's a tattoo shop on a cruise ship.
Is that the one that was in Long Beach?
I think it's like
They used to have a convention there.
Yeah, that's the Queen Mary one, right?
Yeah.
So there's an actual cruise ship, and it's like it's out on the cruise, like it's out on the ocean.
Oh, I haven't seen
while
that.
they have a shop in the cruise ship. Squid Ink.
Oh dang.
Yeah. It's like a whole shop.
Oh shit.
Yeah. There's a picture of the shop right here.
It's in the middle of the boat.
It looks pretty sick.
Crazy.
Yeah, but it's in the
lower
boat.
deck or something. That's the water right there. God damn.
While you're in the ocean. Yeah. That's sick though, dude. Look at this. I was kind of like you. I'm kind of like thinking like, how is it to be on there? I think. I'm trying to think who runs it. So it looks like it's look, everyone's like a tattoo shop. Tattoo on a cruise ship? Yeah. Because you just mentioned nobody really goes to the Bahamas to get a tattoo.
Yeah.
Imagine going on a cruise line.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wonder how popping it is. Who knows? Probably have to talk to artists there. But
right.
I know whenever they come to like a location, you're able to obviously go venture off or whatever. But it would be wild to be like just tattooing on it's like a Virgin cruise or whatever. But it looks pretty trippy. It looks dope. I mean, it looks nice. The inside, it's all decked. I don't know how is it motion?
Yeah,
like throw you off a little bit.
I've never been on a cruise, so
I've heard the bigger the cruise, you don't really feel it.
Oh, okay.
Like the bigger the ship.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Mother Nature's wild. I wouldn't want to be like, yeah, dude, exactly. That seems kind of right. Because yeah, don't hit no tsunamis. Yeah, that's crazy.
I don't know if they're still doing it or not, but. That was fun. That was a really good trip. The first time I flew. And we went out there. I think it was like 5 days we were out there. And then tattooed for 2 or 3 days. And then rented mopeds and rode the whole island.
Oh, sick.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
That's
Industry
awesome.
inks have been around for a while, and recently they expanded their pigment range. Everything from your primary colors, opaque grays, brand new anime skin tone, bright neon fluorescent tones, gray wash set, and black lining ink. If you haven't yet tried out this high quality pigment, head on over to industryinks.com. And with your order, you can take advantage of a special promo code using OUTLOUD for an exclusive discount. Try out their new range for yourself, and thanks again for the partnered sponsorship.
Yeah, I ran into David at New York, one of the New York conventions. Random.
It was a long time ago.
Yeah, a long time ago.
Before I was there.
Yeah. Oh, was it?
Yeah.
I remember seeing him at a booth, and I'm like, "What's up, David?" He's like, "What are you doing?" And then we were just kind of chopping up for a little bit. I forgot who. I think he was there. I don't know if he was there with the Solon crew or what. He was there with somebody.
He used to have a buddy there.
He was in a booth. I just don't remember who it was with. We were trying to link up, and then I told him where I was at, but I think just got busy.
Yeah.
Out of all the travels, that's where the furthest you've gone out, Bahamas.
The Bahamas, yeah. Everything else has been local. I did a couple up in Oregon.
As far as hobbies, back to like the whole, you're working out. I don't know if that was like a hobby, or you're just kind of like, yo, I need to focus on my health.
I need to focus on my health, yeah. Because
Okay.
like at one time I was like 235, and then I was like, oh yeah,
235. How much are we right now?
I'm around 200.
That's good, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I had got down to like 165.
Oh, what?
I did.
You got down to 160. Oh,
I was on a crazy weight loss journey. I would run like 7 miles a day. I would freaking go work out for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. Yeah, it was crazy. And then ended up having another baby.
Yeah.
That messed up my whole schedule because now I can't go to the gym in the morning because I got to watch the kids because my wife's back at work and all that stuff.
I'm on that. I feel it.
And then I switched my schedule to 10 a.m. So I used to be able to have 4 hours in the morning, drop the kids off and go work out. And so now I have to go at 4:30 in the morning. So
right. Because now that's like if you really want it, you're going to have to make it happen.
Yeah.
Which means it's 4:30.
Yeah.
Start your day. So 4, and then you're going to start at 10-ish, right? That's a whole day.
It's already lunchtime.
Yeah. You're ready for dinner. And then you're working out, so you're consistently hungry too.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Our backs get shot out.
Oh, yeah. If I don't work out at least 3 days in a week, my back hurts.
Yeah.
If I don't.
Yeah, we got to stay in motion.
Oh, for sure.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel the same thing. We had our daughter, and I was, the same thing, man. You're just home.
Yeah.
But then you're like, there's just so much getting thrown at you, right?
For sure.
So I think once you get back into routine, you feel so much better, dude. Just knock out that workout in the morning and just like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It makes a difference in the day for sure.
Do you ever target specific while you're tattooing, like our shoulders and backs? Because I don't know, have you ever gone like to a chiropractor to get?
Yeah, I have.
Do they ever mention to you about like opening up your posture and all that?
So yeah, they say your shoulders are meant to be here, but we're like this all day long.
Right, we're like caved in. Yeah. Our shoulders start rotating forward, and we gotta like
definitely gotta like working out. You gotta pull twice as much as you push.
Yes.
So
yeah,
you should do twice as much pulling exercise.
Where you're tattooing, do you check yourself with your posture while you're tattooing? Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, back then we didn't care, right? We're just
we were young,
hunched
and
backed up.
Makes a difference.
That makes a difference. So then, what would you say your hobby is? And like,
I coached for a little bit.
Oh.
That was really fun.
Coached for the softball?
Softball.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I coached. That was fun. And then obviously airbrushing. Really, that's it.
That's it. That's not really like, it's hard to get that time for yourself, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So that morning is your balance.
Yeah.
The morning is what keeps
That's
you.
my me time.
Okay.
So I wake up before everybody in the house, go do what I got to do. That way when I get home, it's time to get the kids up, get them ready for school.
Right.
Get them to school, come home, and then either meal prep or I'll, clean or something, and then get to work.
You built this rep with your clients, and they ever come in and they just impact your life, or you impact them with, check out my journey of working out, and you try to inspire them to do that. How do you feel like your own clients kind of bring in that balance to your work and stuff, your life? How does that,
so
as an artist, like?
I'm a very vocal person, so I talk to a lot of people.
Sure.
Like I'll just, like earlier when I was walking around, if I would have seen somebody, I would have probably talked to him.
Just say what's up.
Yeah. And it's crazy because I just met this guy. He moved back to Kingsburg, but he was living in Florida, and he came back, and his daughter joined my daughter's team.
Yeah.
And I went over there and I was talking to him. I was like, hey man, how you doing? Just because he was by himself. He didn't know anybody yet.
Yeah.
And then I was just talking to him a little bit, and he was like, are you in sales? I was like, kinda. And he's like, what do you mean? I was like, oh, I'm a tattoo artist. He says, see, you already got me.
Oh.
So now I know what you do.
Right.
So now if I want a tattoo, I'll probably ask you about a tattoo.
That's real.
So like softball community, I tattoo a lot of softball people, people from the gym, like a lot of the fitness people, like I tattoo a lot of those people.
Yeah.
I just talk to people and then usually build a little relationship. And
so you had a mouthpiece. You had
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, growing up mowing yards, I talk to old people all the time.
Right.
So you got to be respectful. You got to be nice. You got to be patient.
Sure.
So I kind of just learned it from there. And
Yeah.
then, now that I'm a little bit farther into the career, I'm a little bit more of an asshole, but like nice.
Samuel
though, like
Jackson
nasty.
comes out. Yeah.
Like I'm really easy to get along with. So
Yeah.
usually, once I get a client, I usually keep them.
Right.
Usually
And that's kind of like, you know, because I'll hear from time to time, they'll say, you know, it's going to suck when I run out of room. I'm like, we'll get there. No, let's not think about that right now.
You got more limbs and stuff to go.
What's your opinion on putting value onto your own? How did you start creating that? Like, was that something taught to you by David and John, or did you just kind of just by seeing and everything? Like, how do you put a value on what you do? What's your take on all that?
So I kind of did base it on them. Obviously, I don't like to overcharge people.
Sure.
Because getting tattoos is a luxury. So when people are tight on money or they're, not in the best place, usually their tattoo appointment's the first one they're going to cut out.
Right.
Because they're like, do I go get my car fixed or do I go get the tattoo I want? It's like, you got to go get your car fixed, or like, is it a light bill or a tattoo? And then where we live, like, we don't live in LA or in the Bay or anything like that. So it's super affordable to live here. Yeah. So I just make it to where I'm comfortable and it's still affordable, but they're still getting good quality work. Okay. So I don't really, because to me, it's just a tattoo. Sure. Sure. I'm just a tattoo artist. I'm nobody special. I just do tattoos, so I don't feel like I should be super expensive or anything like that. And I just and to me, it's it's easy. I don't so.
Everybody's, I guess, the view of what it's like right now. It comes to that whole persona. Is that do you ever see that where it's like, okay, like if it's this, like you just said, I just tattoo, but that's honestly to me that's the humble part of you, right? And being modest about it. But how do you put value on what you do when you're banging out these pieces that are coming out? They're just so dope, right? Yeah. So you're doing this, like it's a mandala piece, and that doesn't take that takes a whole ass day, dude. So it's like how do you sit down and just be like, I heard it from Becca, my other artist. She was like, I learned my lesson from mandalas. As soon as because I was here since I started a piece at 10 or 11, and he didn't leave until 8. And and it wasn't that big of a piece, but it was just it's time consuming. Yeah. So, but then you sit here and think to yourself, it's like, all right, how do I put a value on this? Yeah. Or then your day-to-day bangers, or if it's by sessions,
I usually just 4 hours, 6, 7 hours, and then I just have a price for that much time.
Yeah, because then it's something permanent versus a canvas, right? Because you've sold your airbrush stuff.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Yes, you could tell some. This took me a year. It's gonna be, 5 racks. or something, right?
That's what's
how do you?
crazy.
Yeah, it's wild, right? Yeah, yeah.
So I have this. My first deck that I ever painted was an Iron Man board.
Oh, cool.
Outside of a class,
Right.
and it took me like 24 hours from start to finish.
Okay, that's still a lot of time.
And
I
I'm
mean,
like,
think about it. How you're putting 24 hours onto this board. Like
Right.
that's still time.
And people ask me all the time, how much? I'm like, oh, $400. It's like, oh, $400 for a skateboard. I'm like,
Ooh.
I got 24 hours in that. But it's like a blessing in disguise because it's like I don't want to get rid of it.
Right.
But if someone's like, oh, here's $500, I'm like, thank you.
The way you value or you price your art is whatever you feel is like the fairness, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's tattooing is. It's not that it's very intense mind strain kind of work that
For sure. You mentally exhausted every day.
and the more so there's a catch-22. The more you push yourself to better yourself, the more you're evolving and stepping up your game, the more tougher it is on yourself, on you, like mentally and your like body. And that's why it's hard to time it. I think honestly that's what it is. We can't put a time on it because it's like I don't know what used to take us. Do you ever realize that? Like back in the day, what took you?
Now, yeah.
You're way. Yeah, it's crazy. So then you can't call it when it's something where it's the placement, the area,
the skin,
the
person.
Sure.
How many times is my phone gonna ring today?
Right.
How many clients are gonna walk in and want to set something up?
Yeah.
Like, and then it's like, okay, like I'm still working. Do I charge them for that? Do I?
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just try to find that happy medium. Like, what would I pay for that? I'm like, okay.
Okay.
Like,
So
I know,
you like yourself also like
I'm like, okay, that to me, I would probably pay around this much for that, and then just go from there.
Does that help you kind of support other people, whether it's like you have a barber homie or if you have like do you have like a personal trainer that when you went to this journey and
the first time I did.
and did you kind of see that in a like self reflective version of this, like this he's like like self-employed trainer and you're like, okay, I understand your position and I value your time, I value what you're doing because I hope people value mine, so I'm trying to like step into those shoes, right? So do you also like do in comparison, right?
Every time I go out, anybody that provides a service I try to tip just because it's just I get them and I don't ever expect them or ask for them, but people tip me. So I'm like, okay, if someone provides a service, I try to tip, try to support all my friends, whoever start businesses.
Whatever they're doing.
Yeah. Whether it's a clothing brand or whether it's...
What is that clothing brand? I seen that earlier. It looks pretty dope.
So this is Valley Integrity. This is actually my skate brand.
Okay.
And
that's
then,
your skate brand? Oh, dope.
I have a skate brand. And then I also have Valley Integrity Softball. So I have an organization for softball too. And it's called, so they're both Valley Integrity SB. And I have a softball branch, and then I have the skateboarding.
What do you guys? So that's just like the clothing itself, though, right? Like
clothing. I did skateboards. I did hats.
Okay.
I did a little bit of all that for around 2020. I did it for a couple of years.
Where do you sell these at? Like, where do you have the merch?
I have an Instagram. It's been a long time since I printed merch for sale. I just kind of print it and just wear it now.
Oh, okay.
So, but I'm thinking about bringing it back.
If you do bring it back, where could people find that? Like, what would be the Instagram for that?
Valley_integrity_SB.
Got you.
And then that would be all the... I did a lot of cool stuff with this thing, though. I did
you got to bring that back.
Yeah.
You know, you got to like...
I don't know if you know Sam, FDK, for the kids.
Oh, yeah.
I did an event with him. It was called Valley Integrity for the Kids. And and then we did a shirt. It was for Pi Day.
Oh,
it's called
dope.
Who Wants a Piece of
That's
Pie?
my birthday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
A bunch of kids. I had like 30 sponsors. Had tables full of stuff.
Did they do it at the skate spot? Or
I did it at the Hanford Skate Park.
At the Hanford Skate? Yeah. I think Fash has gone there and done a show, no?
He came last year he came. Well, I guess, last year.
Yeah.
He came and supported Crispy.
Oh, yeah.
So Crispy was at mine too. He did some live music for me.
That's tight.
But yeah, we bought like, I don't know if you've ever been to Fatty Albert's, but they have those big pizzas.
Oh, yeah.
We bought like 10 of those, and Fatty Albert's gave me a huge discount.
That's tight.
But we fed like 100 kids.
That's
we
dope.
We didn't charge anybody to enter. We gave a bunch of free stuff away because everybody just supported it. It was awesome.
That's so cool. Yeah, see, something like that, you got to bring it back.
And that was the whole thing for this. I was doing really good at this time, and so everything that people would put into the brand, I would just give back. And I would just give stuff away.
It's almost just keeping it afloat and rotate. Yeah.
So it just kind of ran itself for a little bit, but then my daughter started playing softball.
Yeah, dude.
And I kind of drifted away from
crazy,
the
man.
whole brand. So
then this year, do you have any plans with like your, not only with like tattooing, but like what's your, if we were to kind of sink our feet into the whole like, all right, new year, clean slate, right?
Mm-hmm.
If we're, because it's a calendar thing, it's not a like a physical,
right.
It's not like our body resets.
Right.
I wish it did, right? I
Awesome.
wish it was like, I wish it was like new year, new back, bro. Give me a new shoulder or something. Yeah. So it's like if we were to sink our feet into that, what's your like calendar perspective as far as what's your goal? What's your kind of plan? Mentioning this, I mean, like the way we have to really full all in if we're going to bring back a merge, right? Because like there's things that and like I was telling you, it's about to be a year doing this project.
Right.
And I had to kind of like really step back and be like, do I continue? But as soon as my plans started coming up as far as just who I have like as far as lined up for the calendar and who it's like, oh, it looks like I can continue it. And then until I not necessarily run out, but I know this year's going to be busy. Like we can kind of foresee, right, the future where it's like, okay, come May, this is going to happen or whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, it's just going to be a challenge. We're going to have to figure it out. So what do you have planned for the year as far as like the tattooing? And personally, you have stuff like as far as there's a clinic coming up. I'm going to go join this paint clinic or like, do you have anything like that on the books or?
Yeah. So SNK does 2 a year. So I'll be attending those. I definitely want to paint more.
When are those events?
They're just like, they'll let you know. Because it's like, because Reed, it's usually when Reed could show up, and then they usually have FBS, which is tape, and then they have SADA, which is sprayers.
Okay.
So whenever everything lines up, and then obviously when Lowrider Scene could be there too. So it's just like, hey,
it all has to click.
Yeah, they're like, and so then
because I was gonna say if you're gonna start that again, now's the time, right? Because it's like bring it back up. Yeah.
I want to paint more this year.
Yeah.
So I painted it one piece for Christmas. I did a paddle. And then I put a name on it. And then I want to paint. I want to start. So there's something that's about to happen in town. So I want to start producing more of this.
Okay.
It's just not out yet, so I can't really talk about it.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
So
sign up for $9.99 a month. Okay.
I really want to paint more. I want to get a little bit more creative and not so much because like right now, like I'm kind of just going with the flow with my tattooing.
Right.
Like I'm more of an illustrator. Like, hey, like I want this. I'm like, let's do this. So I want to be able to create like a piece or two, a couple pieces a month and try to sell those.
Gotcha.
So I can get more into the more custom side of it.
Yeah. You feel like you're giving yourself that honor and the integrity as an artist when you do that. I feel like you're doing yourself that favor.
Right.
To keep sharpening that sword, right? To sharpen that knife, to keep that it's a perishable skill, right? So it's good to hear that you want to get, because I can tell you right now, man, this year I want to do more watercolors again. It was fun. I did enjoy it. It's
relaxing.
It was great. It's just that I find myself doing certain things where now it's like the me time. Mm-hmm. The gym, I can't really count it. I do, but it's kind of like it just keeps me in balance. It keeps you.
It's maintenance.
It's maintenance, right? So then it's kind of you should be getting paid for that, right? Because you're like putting in that work. So it's like I wish I could say the gym is my me time. If anything, it's that mental
outlet.
Yeah, it's your outlet for sure. It's hard to find because now whatever my kids are attuned to, like for instance, the softball, that has to be you somehow have to have an attachment with that softball.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? You can't just like.
I'm about to start coaching the youngest too because she wants to play. So it's like
right,
and it's like it just fell in my lap. It's
like
everything just falls in my lap and happens. So it's crazy.
But it's cool that you're able to like roll with it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
The way you're just built.
Yeah,
and like you might have developed that as a tattooer. That's what I was curious about your like. What were you before? How were you before this? If you're this way now, before this, you're like, because right now we're so oriented by the schedule. Everything has to be tight. Everything has to be, there's no like, blind sides? There's no like surprises. And if there is, you have to have a plan A through Z or whatever, right?
Right.
It's hard for people to be a problem solver or they don't have because I'm sure there's a number of things out there we can't experience that we haven't. And then we're put in that position. But due to how we are, we're able to like, so I was curious how you were before this to be like,
Before it was just, I knew I had to work 8 to 5.
Right.
And then after that, I just kind of like I said, I was because before I got with my wife, all I would do was just skate. Just tattoo
skate
when I
your
can.
life away.
I used to freaking
You almost didn't have this going on.
Yeah, I didn't have anything. I was before tattooing, before I got started trying to tattoo, I was going to COS. I was going to try to be an engineer.
Okay.
And then I started tattooing, and then it just completely changed everything.
That's wild.
Yeah, it's a completely different direction.
So I mean, that's good to have that trajectory of the year, though. You know, because it's still kind of in disbelief to be like, hey, this is a new year. And did you work like the first day and day after?
I haven't had a day. This is the closest.
Okay. Yeah.
I worked all week.
Yeah.
I worked. I took Christmas Day off last week, but I've worked.
New Year's Eve, did you guys do anything special New Year's Eve? Or
I was asleep by 11.
Oh, dude. It was hard, man. It was hard, bro.
I went to work. What did I do? I forgot.
I'm the same way. I had to stop and think what we did on New Year's Eve. I just know
yesterday I worked on a cover up.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you know what I did? My appointment didn't show up.
Oh,
so I took a couple little walk-ins.
Oh, dope.
I did a little blue shark on a hand.
Sick.
And then I did
That's cool you're able to do that, though. You always have you know, you always have something to make it count.
My daughter had jiu-jitsu in the morning, and then I went to work for like
Where did she go?
Hours. Elite.
Oh, Elite Visalia or
Hanford.
Oh, Hanford.
Yeah,
Hanford.
I just lived there.
Yeah, that's a really good gym.
Yeah,
they're gonna be really structured there.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's dope. So then, based on everything that you've been through in life, if someone were to ask you like for advice, as far as like life advice, or it could be an artist, it could be whatever you want. Because I know if someone's specific and to be like, hey, airbrush advice, I'm sure you'd give them a whole rap about it. But what would you say based on the things that you've been through, if you're able to like self-reflect on all that and just be like, hey, this is what I recommend, or this is what what would you say?
Everyone starts somewhere. Like no one's great. Like everybody has to start from the bottom. Got to work your way up. Don't be scared to ask questions. Don't be scared to, ask for help. Like it's okay. Like you're not going to get looked down on because you don't know how to do something. So just believe in yourself and hope everybody around you believes into you too. Other than that, just work hard.
Work hard. Work hard, man. Keep that head on that prize, huh?
Yep.
That's real, man.
Consistency. Gotta stay consistent.
Oh, yeah. You're like living proof. You're like, I'm living proof. Check this out.
You gotta be consistent.
Because you're right. Yeah. Without the consistency, you see a fallout, and you see the fall off of, whether it's.
I think that's why I've been with David for 12 years. Like, I'm at the same spot, so everybody knows that they go to 92 proof. I'm there. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not like bouncing around from here to there, and I don't change my phone number. Right. Keep the same Instagram name. Yeah. It's got to stay consistent.
Well, I noticed you said you don't really post as much.
Mm-hmm.
None of that affects you with the whole like consistent of like keeping the content out there, keeping your work up to date, keeping your.
So a lot of the time it's like I'm not happy with it yet. So then I have to like.
What's gonna make you happy with it, though? Like I'm curious. What makes you like? What's gonna have your? Because I get it. I understand. But I'm curious. Like, what's your like thought process when you say I'm not happy with this, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is it?
I don't know. Yeah. A lot of the time, I think it's because my phone. Like I got a cracked screen. I try to take a picture. I was like, this isn't the look how I thought it was looking, and then just. And a lot of the stuff too, like I was saying earlier, like a lot of people come in, they're like, I want this tattoo that this person has.
Sure.
And I'm like, oh my God. And you try to fight with them and switch it, but it's like, if they don't see it on the internet.
Again, that's kind of like your own, that's your own integrity as an artist though. Yeah. You're like, well, I'm not gonna,
Yeah, for sure.
But you're posting more of your art though, right?
Oh yeah. I try to, for sure. I post stuff that I want to do. Mm-hmm. So like I tattoo every day. Sometimes I do 2 tattoos a day, but I try to post stuff like, oh, I really like this, or I like this style, or I want to do more of this. I want to grow in this.
The fishing
so then
out
I'll
there.
start trying to change what my page looks like. And then if I know something's a good tattoo, and I'm like, oh, okay, people are gonna like this, I'll post it on my story, knowing that it'll disappear.
Sure.
So that people
can't
get some
clipped,
engagements off of it. Yeah.
So that's smart.
But word of mouth. Like there's one of these days, you never know.
Oh yeah, word of mouth is big, dude.
One of these days, Instagram, all that might disappear.
It's gonna be gone.
Yeah, you just never know.
You're gonna get back to like flyers and cards, business cards. You know
that's
what I mean?
David right there all day long.
Oh yeah, that's how we started. Dude, that was our start. We had to go brochure it up,
he
man.
Still does it. David will be booked out for a year. So I'm gonna go flyer. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, that's a thing.
He works hard.
It's prospecting. It's you can't ever have enough of your name out there. Realistically, you know. I think that's what I was grateful about conventions is because you're going to multiple places.
Right.
Now it's not only in your own town, it's out of state. So now you're able to open these avenues of like branching out in this state, East Coast, mid, and then here.
Yeah.
A lot of it also was to have this, like the camaraderie of other artists. Like it's dope. I can just be like, bam, my boy Bobby, or just go out there to Michigan or go out there to Wisconsin and hit up, you know what I mean? That's cool to connect that way, you know? And I get inspired, dude, like inspired by having you here too. And like being around other artists at conventions is inspirational in itself. You know what I mean? And imagine when you go to the person's shop and you're like, this is tight, because now you're walking into another artist's little atmosphere and their space and their like, you know, terrain in a sense, you know, like the little aquariums, you know, where I've traveled so far. When I've done like the live on site podcasts with other artists, it's so sick to just see their setups and see the other artists, like their system. Right. And it's not even like a, how should I say it? Like I'm an inspector, you know, I'm just there literally taking it in. It's like us soaking up game. Like you said, remain a student. Right. I love that. That's going to be, that's a really good highlight, but it's like, you know, you go to these other shops and you see these guys working, and even though they're your boys, it's just so dope to see them in their system, in their like groove. You know, they're locked in. Yeah, that's so tight. Yeah. And I think that's why when traveling, that was my biggest. I love taking that aside of like obviously like the clients and the getting the grind on, but it was cool just to really like talk to people and just being like, come get a spot in Florida. Oh, cool. I got a spot in Florida, you know? And then likewise, it's like you guys have an event or whatever. And then just to be able to shoot that invite and just being like, let's have a paint night. Let's have I'd love to just be over there and just watch your airbrush. Because, you know, I'm trying to. Yeah,
it's crazy because I airbrush out of a closet.
So how much paint thinner do you use, or like, do you use any of that high stuff?
It's all water-based.
Oh, the water-based stuff? Yeah.
So, but I paint in like, it's like a laundry room. Okay. It's like a little closet in there.
I'm one of those guys that I got like the whole like, paint booth thing.
Your own mask and everything.
I don't do the mask because I think we've inhaled worse fumes back in the day. You know? But it's like I do have that little. It's like a paint booth, with like a filter, and it just fans it out of your area. Because I'm spraying into something. I'm not doing canvas, right? Where it's like open easel or something. But I could actually just spray into a booth. You know? So it's. But yeah, I'd like to see. So you're in a closet and
it's crazy. It's like
particles.
Like I have one of those little art tables, the glass ones with like little drawers and stuff, and it fit and they're perfect. And I just open the back door.
It's at the house or is it the shop?
It's at the house.
Okay, at the shop, do you have like a setup too, or
no? I don't. I just have a little corner at the shop, and then there's not really a room for airbrush setup in there.
Okay. Yeah. So you just go there and get your work done. And okay.
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's cool. At least you have that setup, man. That's dope. Well, this has been sick, man. I appreciate you coming in, bro. This is dope. I love getting that insight because it was cool to know where you started. Is it crazy to go down like memory lane and like?
Yeah, it's crazy because then it's like, dang, I should have said this, and like I think about everything. But
no, it's cool though, man. It's pretty dope to have. There's a lot, man. There's times that even after I talk to people about something, I'll remember something just because we've been through so much, that we've done so much, and then this year alone, like we were saying earlier, it's going by so fast. It's hard to hold on to details, and sometimes we're just not even thinking about that anymore because we're thinking about what's ahead.
What's next? Yeah. What's next?
I've always loved that whole the windshield is bigger than the rear view for a reason.
Yeah.
That's dope. I like that. It's been sick, man. It's pretty cool way to hear about that story. Where can people find you? Your Instagram, your shop, address. You know, want to check out your artwork. Where can they find you? Go ahead and plug that in.
So my Instagram's box art. It's box_art. And I'm at 92 Proof in Hanford, 107 North Dowdy. Pretty much everything's right there on Instagram. I don't have any websites or links or anything like that.
That's right. You can check out his work throughout this episode. I'll have all the slideshows of the things we were talking about, the boards that he's worked on and things like that. But yeah, man, shout out to my boy. Check him out. Check him out on the IG and stuff. For sure, it's been since what, 2015, 14-ish?
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Sure.
You know what's funny is when I was putting your number in, I still had your name saved. So I was like, I don't even know why I didn't check it. I went to go look at the number, and I was like, when I actually shot you a text, it was Bobby. I was like, there it is. I know. I was like, dude, why didn't I just check? I think it's just because we're just like, we're so like Yeah, but no, this has been dope, man. I knew this was gonna be. This is a good spot, man. This is a good like talk.
Oh yeah.
You know, getting all that in there. It was inspirational, telling your story from the roots and stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you said, man, consistency.
You gotta stay consistent.
That's got to be a
no
highlight.
matter who
right
you're
there.
chasing right there.
That's tight, man. Well, with that said, this has been Tattooing Out Loud, man. Appreciate everybody sticking to the end. Also, hopefully you're consistent with your New Year goals, whatever you're trying to speak out to existence the way we just did. So with that, man, kick off the new year with this episode and we'll go on from there, man. Appreciate you coming out again, brother.
Oh yeah. Appreciate you having me.
Later on, guys, to the next one.